Honestly, I think the plot line and the character developments, this literally could have been like the next Naruto or
I
Black
agree.
Clover
I agree.
that Netflix could have been like, okay, we created an ongoing show and we have the manga for it because, we have seven main characters, we have 10 commandments, and then we have four angels on top of all the knights and all that
Yeah.
stuff. There's like
Man.
so much plot there
Dude, don't get
that
me
they could just make it longer.
Dude, don't get me started about the Angels. The Angels were like squeezed in there. Like they told us about the Angel race in the like season 4, and I get that. That's when we started knowing them. But for the two angels that came out of nowhere to help Elizabeth, and then the guy that has his eyes closed and they possessed bodies because they're trapped, they squeezed the fuck out of them. It wasn't any like, it was like an accidental thing. Oh, I hear you calling out my name, and she somehow goes to a statue, and it's the asshole angel who has his eyes closed, and he takes over her body. It's like, what? How did we go from, oh hey, I haven't seen you in forever, oh but an angel is calling me, dude, they're squeezing so much things in and trying to tell a lot of story within an episode. Every episode to me didn't seem like it was following the last episode. Every episode to me seemed like it was going off of, hey, we forgot to talk about the angel story. Let's totally just throw this in the midst of this whole giant war or whatever's going on.
Yeah, because to me, it's like maybe they like took the manga and they're like, okay, let's just open this. Oh, look at this. Oh, this fight scene's cool. Let's animate this. And then they're like, boring, boring, boring. Oh, look, let's just animate this section of the story too.
That
Like,
that
like
is an amazing way to say it.
they literally could have, excuse me, they could have made the angels literally be like its own story arc and
Yes.
do like 12 episodes of, okay, so this is all the angels. Okay, so the guy with his eyes closed, he's pretty badass, but he's also a huge douchebag, but he's at least you get to see his power.
Right.
But no, it's just like he keeps jumping from person to person, becoming a more bigger asshole. And you're just like, oh, okay, so this guy really, he has no powers. He just transfers body to body, and when a body fails, he just transfers to another one.
Yeah.
And then the dude with the three heads, I was like, okay, this is like the doofus. This is like a Doug Trio guy.
Yeah,
No,
lots of,
nobody's gonna like him.
yeah.
And then he shows this awesome power of the ocean, and you're like, oh dang, dude, this guy's really like a
Powerful.
force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
And then the kid who's like, I mean, I know that the community really loves this show because there's so much, like there's so much with the characters that
Yeah.
appeal to everybody. And
Cause
like, which is a great, because Seven Deadly Sin, like, not a lot of anime shows really appeal to too many audiences,
no.
where this one really appeals to like a huge mass. Like you got gays, lesbians,
Uh
and like trannies. You get all those people that love the show, and it's like everybody respects each other inside the circle, which not a lot of animes do that.
yeah.
A lot of animes gear more towards guys for busty girls and stuff, and
Yeah.
then there's like the yaoi ones where it's geared more to just girls for fan service, guy on guy action.
Yeah.
But really, you don't get one where it's like, you're looking at the person and you're like, is that a guy? Is that a girl? It doesn't matter because
Don't get me started on that.
that one angel kid, when he left the body or whatever,
Yeah.
the body fully developed and it was like a girl, and everybody's
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, you're a girl this whole time? And he's like, yeah, she just didn't hit puberty because I jacked her body before she could.
Yeah, and she was about to
I
die.
was like, what?
going off that, going off that. Okay, not that I have anything wrong with it, but okay. So, every character is a mystery. Like, we started off, they introduced us with King. King, he was this bigger guy. Bigger as in fatter guy. and that's fine. That was cool. They were really cool. I think that's a really awesome thing to show that him like that, and he's one of these strong characters. And in the beginning of the anime, they really focused on King being as the fat character, and it takes a lot of his magic power to put his form into a skinny character. I enjoyed that. I thought that was really cool, because no anime really shows any characters that are main like fat like that. Like they made him look like a neckbeard, dude. They not any character they show like any anime, because every anime they try to focus on their main characters to look like either the sexiest girl in the world or the prettiest buff guy in the world. So that was so cool that they did that as one of their main seven deadly sins, who are super strong. But obviously, like, it speaks out to a lot of people. A lot of people want to be like, in his case, he always wanted to take this smaller form because it looked better to him. I get that. Like it's a thing with a lot of people, and I get that. But going off away from that, so there's King going from being a bigger guy to a smaller guy because he felt better, right? They were doing that consistently. When it came to the later seasons, they totally forgot about that, and I think there was almost like maybe even more than half the season he was just the skinny guy. And in the last 4 episodes, guys, we forgot to make King his true form. His true form isn't this little Twinkie guy. His true form is the bigger guy, and they literally started doing that in the last 4 episodes, where they kept showing him as the bigger guy. Whatever, that's one thing to complain about, like them forgetting about his true form. But again, I thought it was really cool that they introduced him like that and showed how powerful he is. So to add on to that, they who was it? It was they like to do the transformation a lot, because I think there was the big Jack, the guy, the brown hair. So like you said yourself, they focused on a lot of characters a lot. Like even the knights were really focused. They tried to act like they were at Naruto status or Dragon Ball Z, how you have a shit ton of characters and you can literally focus on them. They tried to do that. So one of the 3, I think it was one of the 3 knights, the big buff one with the brown hair, there was one episode where he even got turned into a baby too. A lot of human transformation in this thing, when going from an adult to young, from one looking like a twink to being fat to look. Merlin wanted me to shoot myself in the head. From her to going this sexy lean girl to like this little cute lolly girl. And don't get me started, dude. Like, I get it. Bond, I was so into Bond. Bond was one of my number 1 favorite characters until recently, how they made him seem like a nobody. But Bond was like the intro to like lolly loving, even though she's supposed to be a fairy that's like what, thousands and thousands years old, whatever. He was introduced into loving the lollies. Whatever, that's fine. She's, in the defense of any lolly thing, she's a god, she's a queen, she's whatever of the fairies, and fairies are supposed to look petite and small. I get that. So, cool. There's an understanding to that. They kept her looking like a little girl, and Bond, this big buff lean guy, was in love with her. So it went totally lolly status, whatever. That's, again, from King, we could accept King. From Bond, we could accept Bond. And then out of nowhere, they hit Merlin into this is my true form, I'm a little girl. What? Why? And it was so last second. They do so many transformations about their true forms too many times. And we can even talk about the positive side of their true forms, because like when the wizard, I wouldn't even call him a wizard, the mage who trained Meliodas, when he came up and he went to his true form, his true demon form, we were already introduced. The 10 Commandments already told us that's not their true forms. They have the dark forms. They have their darkest forms. So we get that. There's a lot of transformation in this anime, but it hurts to where I think it's unnecessary to show Merlin go into a little girl. I even think I don't care for it too much, but I get it, because that's the power of anime, to show Bond fall in love with a lolly, and she's a fairy, so she's supposed to look like that. Hey man, I get that is story, but they did that so many times to like a lot of characters. It was driving me nuts. It's like, first you have King, then you have Bond is loving someone who's already like that, but she's not transforming. But away from the lolly loving, because we didn't need my complaint towards that was like loving a lolly to then a Merlin being a fucking lolly too. And they weren't even consistent about that. For like 2 episodes, or the like 20 minutes of the episode should be a small girl, and then out of nowhere, if we don't see her transform, out of nowhere it skips a scene and she's already back to her lady form. But to me, they had a lot of characters. And when you start liking someone on this, they turn them into a little shit or a little brat, or they transform into the Malali. Like, there's a lot of that. Going away from the lolly subject, I'm just talking about what they do to these main characters.
Well, I mean, like, the only one that they didn't really do it to was like to Diana, because when they did her past, she was legit still the same.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that, because I mean, like, as far as King goes, when they showed his past, yeah, he was a bitter little person. Like, he hated being king. He hated this. He was in his, you know, his otaku form.
Right.
And like, the best part about King was that Diana still loved him regardless of which 2 forms he took.
Yes, that was amazing to show.
That was really like, okay, you know, give it props to this anime, because you're giving hope that, like, you know, your average looking guy, he can still get the girl of his dreams.
Yes.
Even if the girl is a giant, he doesn't care if it's a giant, because he loves that person for who they are.
Yeah, that was awesome of them to do that.
And like, for Diana, I feel like they didn't do too much with her backstory. I mean, like, yeah, they showed where she grew up, but they didn't like make a younger version of her or like anything. And I literally felt that her storyline like just happened, like, especially with the one girl who forgot what her name, but the other giant, the blonde-haired one. Yeah, they showed her, and I was like, oh, okay, this girl died like a long time ago, like ages ago.
Yeah.
Because everybody else is talking like a long ass time ago. And then all of a sudden she appears, and I'm like, wow, she still looks the same age. Like, did this just happen last year? Did she lose her limb like last year?
I know, they weren't really clear about
and then
that,
she was with the 7 deadly sins for so long, and like, she didn't age at all. I was so confused. And as like far as Merlin goes, I'm like thinking that, okay, every character has to change somehow. And I was thinking that, oh, maybe she's just adjusting her boobs the whole time. Like, she wants to look mature. So she goes into bigger boobs. And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe that's her thing. Yeah. Because with Escanor, he was ripped in the daytime, and then he becomes wimpy at night.
I forget him. He had a transformation too.
Yeah. And I love his transformation because it shows you, you know, weak, strawny guy, and then like, you know, his inner potential with his pride and everything. He's just like over the sun of powers.
Yeah.
So it makes you think that, okay, a wimpy guy, it can still be very strong. But like, for what they did for Merlin, I was like, oh, so they're gonna make this like really seductive girl, and then they're gonna make her a child complex. I was just like face palming myself. I was really hoping they wouldn't do that, because I was like, that takes away from her character. And then literally now everybody has like a hidden lowly complex that likes Merlin. And I hate that.
Me too.
Because like, you're gonna be like, oh, you pedophile, and you can be like, no, this is what I like. See, this is Merlin. Yeah, but she's really a little girl. God damn it!
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about who she. Well, it wasn't really clear. Is it? They said her true form. So is she literally a little girl?
Yeah, she is a little girl. That's Elizabeth's little sister.
Oh,
and
we'll get into nicknames later. That shit's stupid.
Yeah. It was like, she's the little sister, but like, for some reason she became like an immortal at that time, like at that phase. So then that's why she would use her magic to make herself look more mature, because you know, she doesn't want anybody to see her true form.
She likes the mature
I get,
side.
But I was like, oh my god, why did they do her like that? I'd rather her go into like a fat lady or something and be like, that's my true form.
Dude.
And I've been like, oh, fantastic. She's still Merlin. But no, they're like, she's a little girl. And now I'm like, I can't go around saying that Merlin's the hottest character, because that's like saying, oh, look at this child. That's the hottest character in the show.